Good evening. Welcome to the evening news. Babatunde Bolatito is my name. The outgoing sole administrator of Rivers State, Vice Admiral Ibot Ete Ebas, has defended his tenure, stating that the fulfillment of President Bola Tinubu's mandate and stabilized the oil-rich state. This is as the state prepares for the return of Governor Siminalayi Fubara district following the 6-month emergency rule. Meanwhile, the All Progressive Congress praised Ibas for maintaining peace and upholding the rights of citizens during his time as sole administrator. The party lauded his effort in ensuring that democratic process, especially in the conduct of local government elections, remained intact, describing his leadership as a stabilizing force in a previously tense political environment. In contrast, however, the opposition parties called for an investigation into Iba's tenure, particularly his management of the state resources during his 6-month stay in the Brick House. The opposition include the People's Democratic Party, the New Nigeria People's Party, and the Labour Party described Iba's 6-month administration as a waste of time, declaring it unconstitutional and a violation of democratic norms and demanding an investigation. Rivers State had been engulfed in political turmoil for nearly 2 years, due largely to a power tussle between former Governor Nyesom Wike and his successor, Siminalayi Fubara, prompting President Tinubu to declare state of emergency and appoint Ibas as the sole administrator. The media rights agenda has called on the federal, state and local governments to ensure that the rights of journalists to perform their duties and their freedom of expression are protected and guaranteed by the Constitution. This is coming as the world celebrates the International Day of Democracy. In a statement by MRA, signed by Idowu Adewale, the media communication officer, the group joined the global community in commemorating the 2025 edition. According to the statement, this year's theme, Achieving Gender Equality Action by Action, is particularly relevant for Nigeria, where there has been a scandalous marginalization of women in governance at all levels. MRA stressed that gender equality is not only a human right, but also a fundamental requirement of a resilient and inclusive democracy. The United Nations General Assembly adopted the resolution in November 2007, in which it decided to observe September 15 of each year as the International Day of Democracy and invited all UN member states, regional and intergovernmental organizations to commemorate the day in an appropriate manner that contributes to raising public awareness. The Foreign Affairs Minister, Yusuf Tugar, has declared that Nigeria will not be pressured into aligning with global powers or taking sides in international rivalries, stressing that the country must pursue an independent foreign policy. In a statement signed by the ministry spokesperson, KMB Imotimi Ebienfa, Tugar made his position clear while delivering a guest lecture at the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs, Lagos. He explained that Nigerian foreign policy in the 21st century must be anchored on strategic autonomy, guided by 4 pillars: democracy, demography, development, and diaspora. The minister warned against repeating the mistakes of the past, recalling how economic bandwagoning led to the adoption of the Structural Adjustment Program. He added that Nigeria's population, internal market, and size provide it the unique advantages of navigating a changing global order. He also said Nigeria's embassies across the world are discharging their duties effectively, despite the absence of substantive ambassadors, dismissing concern that diplomatic missions were paralyzed, adding that existing structures ensure continuity even without appointing envoys. The Joint Tax Board has dismissed recent claims that Nigerians without a tax identification number will lose access to their bank accounts or be barred from financial transactions starting January next year. The statement comes after a document from the Presidential Fiscal Policy and Tax Reform Committee said the taxable people without a tax ID may not be able to use the bank account, insurance, pension, or investment services after that date. But JTB, in a statement signed by spokesperson Eke Ado, made it clear that Nigerians will continue to have full access to their bank accounts and financial services beyond the stated date, regardless of whether they possess a tax ID. It, however, stated that the JTB, comprising the 36 State Internal Revenue Service, the FCT IRS, and the FIRS and the FIRS are collaborating with a harmonized national tax identification system to support the vision. JTB urged Nigerians to stay calm and ignore any false messages claiming that they will lose access to their bank accounts. Association of Resident Doctors under the Federal Capital Territory Administration has commenced an indefinite strike following the expiration of their 7-day warning strike. The decision was contained in a communique issued and signed by ARDFCTA President Dr. George Ebong and Secretary General Dr. Agbo Afing. The association had earlier embarked on a warning strike to press home its demand bordering on unpaid salary arrears, poor welfare, and deteriorating condition in FCT hospitals. According to the communique, the grievances include unpaid salary arrears of between 1 and 6 months for doctors employed since 2023, non-payment of the 2025 medical residency training fund, delayed promotion, and continued salary deductions. The doctors also faulted the failure to recruit new medical doctors despite a severe manpower shortage, warning that this has resulted in stress-related deaths among health workers. They further highlighted the non-payment of arrears from 25 to 35% upward review of comments already implemented for federal health workers as part of their grievances. The association also called for the declaration of state of emergency in FCT hospitals, seeing that nation's capital should be a benchmark for healthcare delivery in Nigeria, but has instead become a shadow of what it ought to represent. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency has forecast thunderstorm and rainfall across the country from today to Wednesday. NIMET Weather Outlook released in Abuja predicted isolated thunderstorms with moderate rains in the morning over Kaduna, Gombe, Bauchi, Kebbi, Adamawa, and Taraba states. In the afternoon, the evening isolated thunderstorms with moderate rain are expected across the northern region. Flash floods are likely in Adamawa, Taraba, and Gombe states. For the central region, a cloudy atmosphere with sunshine intervals is expected in the morning with moderate rains over Kogi, Niger, Kwara, and FCT, and Benue, while thunderstorming with moderate rains are forecast over most part of the central region later in the day. NIMET predicted cloudy skies over southern region in the morning with moderate rain expected in Ekiti, Ondo, Rivers, Akwa Ibom, and Cross River State with moderate rains anticipated over most part of the southern region later in the day. Now to sports. Concerns are mounting among football authorities and supporters in South Africa following the recent ruling by the Court of Arbitration for Sport, which upheld FIFA's decision to penalize Equatorial Guinea for feeding an ineligible player during the 2020 World Cup qualifiers. The West African nation has been docked 6 points, 3 from each of their victories against Namibia and Liberia, after striker Emilio Nsue was found to be ineligible to represent the national team at the time of the matches. The ruling arose from the finding that Nigeria did not have necessary clearance to switch its international allegiance from Spain, where it had participated at youth level. Despite having represented Equatorial Guinea for over a decade, FIFA declared its participation invalid, and decision that was upheld by CAF followed an appeal lodged by the Equatorial Guinea football. The World Health Organization has begun vaccinating frontline health workers and contacts of infected individuals in response to a new Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo, Kasai province. The initial 400 doses of the available Ebola vaccine have been delivered in Bulape, the epicenter of the outbreak, from a national stockpile of 2,000 doses. The International Coordinating Group on Vaccine Provision has approved this shipment of an additional 45,000 doses to help contain the spread. The outbreak, declared in early September in the DRC's first in 3 years, wide virus which thrives in the country's dense tropical forest, has so far resulted in 32 suspected cases, 20 confirmed and 16 deaths, according to the Health Ministry in Kinshasa. The program area manager Patrick Otin warned that the outbreak will expand, especially after a case was confirmed 7 kilometers from Bulape. He highlighted the moderate rate of cross-border spread, particularly to the neighboring Angola. And that ends the evening news on OSBC TV. Please join us at 7 for the major report. Good evening.